I am once again asking for your financial support.
Hey all, I've been really active over on this app, TikTok, where my videos have received hundreds of thousands of views. I also do my podcast on YouTube, which is another small channel that I don't get paid for. My TikTok nor my YouTube channel are monetized, so I make zero money. If you enjoy the stuff that I make, please consider being a patron of my Patreon page. Don't get me wrong, you sharing, liking, and enjoying the content is enough for me, but if you want to go that extra step, and help your boy eat and maybe pay a bill or two, especially in a landscape where content and music are shared extensively without any real credit or compensation going to the artist. Patreon.com/Neil P. Neil P. Thanks in advance. Love you, love you. Nice and sunny.
Oh, it's a gorgeous day.
Lovely, lovely.
How is it where you are, hell?
It was raining all day.
Hell.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
You're from Buffalo, so you know what it's like out here.
Yes, I immediately moved as soon as I was capable.
Okay, so we're here once again. This is SUPcast episode number 80, and I'm here with friend of the show, Mr. Bill Manspeaker, the punk rock pope of Green Jello, and we're having a live direct conversation in Hollywood to Detroit, Michigan, right now on the internet. Say hello, Bill.
Hello, Bill.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Last time I saw you, we were doing the Reagan Youth thing, I think, and then a little bit previous to that, we did...
Last time I saw you was the LA Marathon.
Yeah, we slept over at the studio, and we did...
And you and I ran it in the morning.
Yeah, a little bit.
A lot of people don't know that you're a marathon runner as well as I. We travel around the world, and we do marathons for charity.
I can't run a marathon. I'll die. My knees can't handle it.
There's a really good joke there. I'm just going to leave it up to you.
Yeah, well, my brain isn't working. I'm drunk on chicken wings right now.
Drunk on chicken wings. Wow. That's such a back east saying.
Yeah, Buffalo. Did Buffalo originate the buffalo chicken wing? That's my question.
Yes, they did.
What do you know about that?
The Anchor family did it in 1932. They owned a chicken farm. And, of course, they'd lob off the heads, the wings, the legs, and then use the breasts and the thighs to package. And then some smart-ass decided to throw some of that into some boiling grease, and chicken wings were born. And then they dipped it in a thing called buffalo sauce, which is just hot sauce with mayonnaise. And there you go. And then all of a sudden, the world stopped throwing away their chicken carcass wings and legs, and they started to sell them for outrageous prices. And before it was just dog food. How many things in life have went from dog food to human consumption?
I have no idea.
We got McDonald's as one.
Oh, for real?
Yes. The next step down from McDonald's is dog food. I think they have 70% meat, and the other 30% is filler, and which can also mean cardboard.
Yeah, what is the filler?
Cardboard. 30%. That's what you're eating. Digesting. Let's go to Burger King and McDonald's. You're eating cardboard.
Disgusting.
So you're drunk on cardboard and boiled wings in grease dipped in hot sauce with mayonnaise, which is egg and vinegar.
Essentially, yes.
You're living the life there, bud.
I'm going. My girlfriend's obsessed with this place.
You're wild.
I'm wild. I'm a Buffalo Wild Wing.
Have you thought of AA?
Yeah, I've actually been to some meetings.
You know, the egg consumption can really escalate your cholesterol. You know, I used to be an egg addict, and I've been clean from the yolk for 2 years now.
Congrats. Yes. So when we talked last, we were going over Lazy D, who's a friend of yours and mine. And
yes.
You were with Lazy D when Lazy D had his heart problem, correct?
Yes, correct. Too many pocket hamburgers is all I want to say.
Is he a pocket hamburger guy?
He's a pocket snack kind of guy. I've seen him pull pizza out of his pocket. I've seen him pull hamburgers out of his pockets. Random snacks, of course, but you know, when a random piece of hot pizza comes out of his pocket, you got to start questioning your health and eating standards.
So what happened? How did everything go down with him landing in the hospital? If you don't mind telling that story.
Oh yeah, not a problem.
Because I want to segue that into what happened to you recently, and I'm glad you're here.
Sure. So Lazy D is from Kentucky. I met him at a truck stop. I was peeing. He was in the guy next stall over, and he was getting a little looky-loo. And I was like, dude, what's up with this? And he proceeds to tell me about how he raps and blah, blah. And he's rapping to me while I'm peeing. In Kentucky. So I leave the bathroom, and he follows me out to the van, and he gets in. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, I'm coming along. I joined the band. I heard that you allow anybody into your band. And next thing I know, it's like 3 years later, and he flies out to do a show. And he flies out from Kentucky to Hollywood, and he's playing on my video music show, What the Fuck TV.com. And he did a really good set. And my production manager asked for a ride home. And I was on like my 8th Red Bull. So I was like, yeah, sure. I'll give you a ride home. And so I drove her into Burbank, and all of a sudden I get this phone call. Lazy D's having a heart attack, and he needs to go to the hospital. I was like, I'm in Burbank. The hospital's down the street. Call the ambulance. And nobody called the ambulance. And in fact, they told him to drink some water. They told him he had heartburn.
Oh, Jesus.
They told him to lay down. He had heartburn. Have some water. So I race all the way back from Burbank, which isn't far, but still full throttle in this little Prius. And I get to the studio, and I'm like, "Where's Lazy? Where's Lazy?" And nobody at all knows what I'm talking about. All right, so somebody's calling me, telling me he's dying of a heart attack. I race there, and I get there within seconds, and nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. And I'm like, are you guys fucking kidding me? So I storm off like a little bitch. And I go down the street huffing and puffing. And all of a sudden, everybody in the world's looking for me, and they're calling me. I said, fuck, I ain't answering nobody. I'm not talking to nobody. Fuck all you with your stupid, Lazy D's dying fucking joke. Ha, ha, ha. So all of a sudden, finally, they find me. And they're like, Lazy's in the car. He's dying. And I'm like, what? So I run to the car. There he is in my front seat, flopping like a fish.
Oh, wow.
Like when you catch a fish and he's just flopping on the ground. That's what he's doing.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And he's grabbing my arm and like holding it so tight and just screaming. I was like, what the fuck? Now I'm in complete shock, Again, I'm dropping somebody off. They say he's sick. I come back, can't find him. I'm pissed off. Now I'm over it. And now all of a sudden I'm in the car and it's real.
Yeah.
So I head off to the hospital, which is literally like 3 blocks away. Could have fucking walked there by now. And I drop them off, and of course they don't let me in because of COVID.
Yes.
And I begin licking everything in the hospital. So they immediately tell me to leave. So I just sit out and I wait outside. I said, you know what? I'll just wait half hour, 45 minutes, walk back inside. They'll give them time to check him in, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sitting outside waiting. Go in, and they're like, oh, he's not here anymore. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you brought him to the wrong hospital. We don't do, heart attacks here. And I'm like, I brought him to the wrong hospital. So now, not only was I in Burbank and had to come back, and then stormed off, and then brought him to the wrong hospital. Now an hour has passed. And I'm like, oh my God, he's dead somewhere.
Oh, geez.
This is what I'm thinking in my mind, because an hour has passed. And when I had seen him 45 minutes ago, he wasn't looking good. And now they've transferred him to somewhere else. I don't see how it's possible that he's even alive. So they tell me where, and I go over there. And of course, no, we can't give you any information. We don't know who you are, blah, blah, blah. So I had to call his wife. And here I am going, great. I got to tell her he's in the hospital and most likely dead, and she's got to call.
Jesus.
Which isn't the most wonderful feeling in the world.
No.
Calling about your young friend who's staying at your house, and you're calling his pregnant wife right before the holidays.
Oh, God.
To tell her that, her husband, last you saw her husband, he was dying in your arms, and that you got to call the hospital. And I'm fucking terrified. And I'm bawling, and I'm shaking, and I'm just completely exhausted mentally for what had just happened within the last hour, let alone putting on an entire 3-hour live show. Let's forget about that stress.
So this was at the end of your live stream, your 3-hour show.
The end of the live stream.
Right.
We had just gone live for 3 hours. Lazy D had performed a half hour, did a great job. Show's over. There's a zillion people at the show. There's a gigantic mess everywhere because people are pigs. And let's go over there and leave our trash. Pee all over the place. But anyways, besides the trash and the piss, then there's your best friend, gasping for air and life. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen anybody die before. It's not the most pleasant thing.
No.
And basically, they're frantically, spazzing out and gasping for air wildly. Like, terrible, terrible, terrible fucking thing. I've witnessed it one time before. And now here it was the second time, and it's my best friend. Like, he's gasping for air, he's flopping. And now I got to tell his pregnant wife during the holiday season that I didn't take care of her husband like I promised. So I finally mustered up all the nerve, and I give her a call. And she's like, oh, yeah. He's fine. I just talked to him in the hospital.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he went in there for that last week, and we knew this was coming. And she was so goddamn fucking matter of fact. And here I am having this mental breakdown because I'm petrified to tell her. And this pregnant woman whose husband is getting a heart operation at this moment in time is calming me.
Wow.
Calming me down.
Wow.
So basically what happened is some big clot happened in his heart and it got stuck. So they had to put a big piece of plastic with a hole in it in one of his heart valves, which is called a stent.
Yeah, my dad had one of those.
And that's, just basically eating too many pocket hamburgers. You know, it's all great to eat the candy and the burgers and the fast food and not hydrating yourself and partying like a bro. That's all great when you're 20.
Right.
But all of a sudden, 20 years passes way faster from when you're 1 to your 20. The 20 to your 40 goes by like boink.
You can say that again.
And all of a sudden, you're 40. You can't stop drinking. And your body has terrible issues because of all the alcohol and bad food and bad life choices. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're just living your regular old life and boom, it's lights out. I mean, I literally basically was watching him die at a young age. And the only thing that saved him is he lived, or he was at a city that is used to this sort of condition, and to do this operation is very routine. You know, we could have been out in the middle of butt fuck nowhere.
Yeah, because
somewhere in Pennsylvania in the back hills.
Yeah, because you've traveled all over with Lazy D. You've been to Europe with them.
Oh, everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere. He couldn't have picked a better place to die than my house.
But for a while now, he's been kind of your like sidekick, your like right-hand guy.
Yeah. You know, again, if anybody that knows me or of the band, or anyone at any point in time is welcome to join me in any of my adventures. It's up to you to get there. It's up to you to behave. It's up to you to make your own success. But you know, you want to come along? Sure. I know the way. It's easy. It's fun. A lot of people take me up on it. And Lazy D, again, I'm in the bathroom in Kentucky, taking a piss. Some guy's next to me being obnoxious. It's an everyday part of my life. To some travelers that are going down to Florida for the week from, New Jersey, yeah, the guy's going to look at your dick and talk to you in the bathroom. No big deal. You know, you get over it, but it's going to be something that you don't forget. And you're going to tell this story for like 20 years. This is a daily for me.
Makes sense.
So, just another weirdo talking to me in the bathroom. And he took the opportunity to just say, hey, no, I'm getting in the van and I'm following you. And we've gone to Sweden. We've gone into Canada. We've gone into Mexico City, traveled the entire world for, probably 4 years. And this was a guy who was just a fan of my band as a little kid, who made a green Jello, 3 Little Pigs coloring book when he was 11. And now I'm at his house when he's 35. And he's showing me the same coloring book that he made as a kid.
Nice. He kept it.
He kept it.
Beautiful.
And he got to share that moment with me. And then travel the world. And then literally dying in my arms. And somehow I saved him by bringing him to the wrong hospital.
Wow.
The wrong. The massive guilt. Oh my God, I was in Burbank. I got there in time, but I brought him to the wrong hospital. It would have never went away.
How are you supposed to know, though,
Right. Exactly. But still, the guilt would have just, carried with me for a lifetime. And then here I'm thinking that, he's dead. That's why they just chucked him off over on the other hospital that takes care of the dead people. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. And now I got to tell his wife. And then again, his wife just, reassuring me that he's fine with the heart operation that's going on right then,
So she said she knew that this was coming? Like what sort of evidence did they have of that?
I'm going to say the years or the decades of the pocket cheeseburgers. I mean, anybody, it's common sense.
Yeah.
Anyone that hangs out with Lazy D, you're just like, dude, how are you alive? we were in Mexico City, okay? Mexico City. And we played this biker festival, like 2 hours out of town to 7,000 Latino bikers. And I'm not talking like, oh, I got a Harley and I drive around on the weekend bullshit.
Right.
I'm talking bikers.
Yeah.
7,000 of them. and me and Lazy D is their entertainment.
Wow.
And as we're driving out there, I don't know if you remember, but in the news, a pipeline had broken in Mexico. And people were running out to the pipeline and stealing buckets of gasoline from the leaking pipeline. Hundreds and hundreds of people. Okay? And as they were doing this, somebody decides they're going to light a cigarette.
Oh, no.
And if you go on YouTube and you search it, you can see everybody blowing up and being set on fire out in this open field in the middle of nowhere, Mexico. All you got to do is YouTube it.
I got to look that up.
And here we are at the truck stop where this happened. The field across the street. And we're there with 100 other trucks, all waiting in line for gas because there isn't any gas because it was leaking out of that pipe and then they blew it up. So we're in the middle of nowhere, Mexico. Totally like a Quentin Tarantino film, okay?
Yeah. From Dusk Till Dawn.
100% where the titty twister is.
Yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn, I was going to say that. Robert Rodriguez.
The abandoned gas station, the grungy dog, you know, the shady alley with the Latino the music. All real. And we're just sitting there waiting just for a drop of gas. So we can go play for these 7,000 bikers that are waiting for us in the field of a desert, middle of nowhere, Mexico. And of course, everybody gets hungry. So they go into the restaurant where there are, I'm going to say, 4 of those stainless steel kind of catering tubs. You know, with the little lid on it.
Yeah.
You know, they're square.
Yeah, it's
they got the little fire thing underneath it.
Yeah, I do catering, actually. That's one of my side gigs.
Okay. So there's about 4 of them on a little banquet table. This is it. This is it for food.
Right.
In the town. And I lift up the little hood, and there, floating in lukewarm water, is pig brains. Lots and lots of pig brains.
Nice.
Now, the candles below are not lit. They're not, these are summer room temperature pig brains.
Ew.
Floating in stagnant pig brain juice.
Oh, shit.
All you can eat pig brains, $8.98. Who do you think leaves with pockets full of pig brains? Who's pulling them out, snacking on them on the way to the biker festival?
Oh, my jeez.
Lazy D.
That being said, how is Lazy D now?
Well, I'm going to find out. He's flying out from Kentucky, and he's landing in Phoenix tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to do our first Green Jello 4-day mini tour since the fake apocalypse. So in March of 2020, I had 3 days, 1 day in Minnesota and 2 days in Wisconsin. It was March 15th, 2 days before St. Patty's Day. And it was in Rapid Falls, Wisconsin, where I broke the record on the last Green Jello show before the fake apocalypse. 13 people willingly drank whiskey fireball shots off my balls, breaking the record of 11 that was held in Florida. And the 13th person to drink off my balls that night was the owner of the venue. And it was so cold outside that if you left your beer, it freezes. Well, the water part of it turns into a beer slushy. It was like -2 degrees.
Yeah.
So that was the last time that we did a tour with Lazy D. And yes, he'll be flying in on tomorrow. And we're going to do a new adventure.
That's beautiful. So let's talk while we got you here, because I know your time is limited. Let's talk about...
No, it's not. I'm doing laundry.
Okay, you're doing laundry. Well, okay, so Lazy D had his health scare, and then recently I was fucking around on Facebook, and you were on Facebook like posting during your health scare. Like,
oh, yeah.
Let's go into that because I was freaked the fuck out, and I just remember commenting, I hope you're all right.
Oh, yeah, no, it was very close to death. I mean, not as close as Lazy D. Like Lazy D was literally on death's door.
Wow.
I was hanging out down the street.
Hey, we're in the laundromat. I love LA. We love it.
All right. Can you still hear me in the laundromat? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, great. Here we go.
Look at that laundry. Look at that dude. Yeah, look at that guy. He's drinking liquid crude.
Yeah, I gotta get a good shot of the laundry. There we go. How's that? Can you hear me?
Sure, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I can see better this way. There we go.
There you go.
All right. So it was December, and my friend, just December right before Christmas, my friend of mine says to me, you know, you have medical insurance and your son is 7 and you're going to turn 60 soon. Maybe you should just go get a checkup. You have insurance. So I don't know if you've had insurance throughout your life.
Here and there, yeah.
But I've never had it. Grew up super duper poor. My mom didn't have it. Anything that happened with me was kind of hit and miss at the hospital. I remember going to get my tonsils taken out. And it was just terrifying. And then through my adult life, you know, fall down a mountain, get run over by a truck, you know, random life things.
Yeah, falling down a mountain, yeah. I believe it.
Running into ropes with your motorcycle, various things. You wind up in the hospital, and it's not a good experience. They don't treat you nice. They push you out on the door, outside. I remember one night I woke up. Well, I was watching Cops, actually. I didn't wake up. It was 3 a.m, and I had this terrible pain in my side. And next thing I know, I was laying on the ground, and when my wife got up to go to the bathroom at like 8 a.m, she saw me.
Oh, damn it.
I was drug overdosing. Right? I don't drink. I don't party. But this is what they're assuming because I show up with no insurance. And they give me charcoal pills to induce vomiting. Okay? I don't need to vomit. But this is the fastest way to get me out because I don't have any insurance. They're like, oh, here, take these charcoal pills out of here. So my wife gets in the car. I can't stand up, and I'm sitting on the ground in front of the emergency room. The security guards come out and tell me that I can't sit there. And if I don't move, they're going to call the police. Okay, now I can't walk. I don't know why I can't walk, but I'm in horrible pain. They've already kicked me out. Said my wife's getting in the car. I can't. So they're basically giving me a hard time.
Yeah.
My wife finally shows up. I get into the car, and it runs out of gas.
Oh, geez.
Right there. Right in front of the building. So there I am in horrible pain. My wife in a big giant car who just learned how to drive. She doesn't know why her husband is sick. He's screaming in the car and runs out of gas. What do you think the 2 security guards do now? This is because I have no insurance. Now, if I had insurance, I'd be inside.
Right. Did they call the cops on you?
Nope.
Okay.
They pushed the car into the street.
Oh, Jesus.
Off the property.
Oh, my God.
Okay? So now, let's go forward 20 years. And I have medical insurance. Now I'm in this gorgeous room with Siri, who's taking any of my commands.
Wow.
Siri, put on Cartoon Network. Siri, call the nurse. With this gorgeous view out the window. And top-notch doctors on my side 24 hours a day for 5 days.
Which hospital was this?
This was Cedars-Sinai in Beverly Hills.
That's where my hernia popped out on St. Patty's Day of 2018. And I was at the Rainbow Room when I felt I had a hernia pop out. And I spent the night there. Yeah, so I know Cedars-Sinai.
I left with a gift bag.
Oh, wow.
With Kylie Jenner hand sanitizer. Okay? But before I'm in this terrible pain and they push me out into the street. Now I'm leaving with Kylie Jenner hand sanitizer.
Okay, so let me get this straight because you broke up a little bit. So the first time you went there when they pushed your car into the street, that was 20 years previous, correct?
Yes, when I had no health insurance.
Okay, yeah. So it just shows the disparity between those who are insured and those who are not the chosen ones.
Yes. So basically what I was trying to say is all my life I've had terrible nightmares from the hospital.
Yeah.
Again, I've been run over by a truck and dragged down the street. Oh, too bad. I've been hit by a car and thrown into the street. Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
I've fallen 1,000 feet down a mountain. Oh, too bad. You know, I've gotten projectile thrown into a mosh pit and knocked my shoulder out of socket and it hung that way for 2 years. You know, too bad. But now all of a sudden the pandemic hits and I get some insurance and they pop my arm back into place. They're fixing me up. They give me heart medication. They give me a sweet room. So basically, with me, I went to the doctors with my newfound health insurance, which I was very wary of having. And they, took my weight and my vision and everything and blah, 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 talk. And I'm all fine. And then they take my blood pressure. And I'm at some outrageous number, like 170.
That's high.
And a normal blood pressure is like 120.
120 over 70 is perfect, or optimal.
And I'm at 170.
Wow.
And I'm feeling just fine. And the doctor says, she goes, I can't force you to go to the emergency room. I guess there's this new thing where people just don't want to listen to a doctor. And so a doctor has to explain to you how you don't have to listen to them. And I'll go in further with that as the story goes in. But so she explained to me that, I didn't have to go, but it was her recommendation that I go to the emergency room immediately. So I did. And they told me the same thing. My heart rate was outrageous, or my blood pressure. And basically they gave me a bunch of medication that brought it all down. And which it did, and it worked for a while. And then my health has nothing to do with like me eating pocket hamburgers.
Right.
Or consuming a large amount of alcohol for 20 years.
Yeah.
Mine basically came just from stress.
Yeah.
And stress just being, a guy who welcomes any stranger he finds in a truck stop bathroom in Kentucky into his life. You have to also do math equations with that, because every 100 weirdos you meet, there's got to be at least one that's just completely insane. Not just crazy. Not the fun crazy.
Yeah.
Not the crazy like me and you.
Yeah.
Okay, me and you are the fun crazy.
Right.
But, and that's how me and you met, because we're both crazy.
A little bit.
That's great.
It is.
But with every 100 that you meet, there's always one that's just really nice. And I'm touring a lot, and I'm doing 125 shows a year. So let's just...
Yeah, I lost you. We're back.
Yeah, my battery died.
No worries. So you were saying how in...
And there I was, completely naked, surrounded by aliens. Next thing I knew, I won a Grammy.
But okay, so as you were saying, you've met a bunch of crazy people, fun people, but there are people that are genuinely crazy, like problematically crazy.
Yes. Every 100 people that I recruit into my satanic alien cult, there's always one resistor.
And is this the person that caused you this immense amount of stress?
Well, when you compile 12 years of nonstop touring and getting an average of one every year, and you have 10 psychopathic lunatics, messaging you hate messages 24 hours a day, I have a tendency to show up at their house and whoop their ass.
Oh. Oh. Do you care to elaborate?
Well, I'm going to elaborate one instance where I was in Canada, and earlier in the day, I was in Hollywood, California. And like I do every Thursday before I get on a plane and travel thousands of miles, I message the promoters and I say, everything good? We're all clear before I get on the plane, because it's easier not to pay me now while I'm home.
Right.
Than not pay me when I'm not home.
Makes sense.
Never an issue. But again, I always like to do it as a courtesy. And every once in a while, it happens. No big deal. Just tell me. Whatever. So I made this message. Everything's fine. I flew all the way from Hollywood, California to Buffalo, New York, 2,500 miles, 6 hours. And then from Buffalo, I got a ride to the border of Niagara Falls, Canada, where I then carried 13 punk rock puppets and myself across the Canadian bridge, dragging everything behind me, then showing up at customs and explaining why I have 13 punk rock puppets and how I'm just visiting Canada. Because if you tell them that you're playing the show, that's a whole complicated thing.
Right.
So I just say, I'm just there visiting. Well, what's the, why do you got a cow, 3 pigs, Bert and Ernie, and 4 chickens? Cosplay. We're doing a cosplay part.
There you go.
They just roll their eyes and they shuffle me through. And so I shuffled through and I waited on the other side where my ride in Canada picked me up, who had drove 2 hours from Toronto to pick me up at the border. And then we drove 3 hours into the tundra of Canada. And it began to snow. Lots and lots and lots of snow. In which I'm laughing and parading about and doing live videos. Coming to you live from tundra snow. Ha ha ha, this is funny. We get to the show, we play it. No big deal. Just like, Thursdays, they're not the greatest days. Thursdays are slow, Friday are better, Saturday's the only good day to play. And that's when you're just a band playing local clubs. So you understand the Thursday night, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So just your general fun time. No promoter. But, that's not uncommon, especially on a weekday night. They'll message you later. They'll catch up. Whatever. Message, nothing. Next day, message, nothing. So now he's avoiding me, obviously. So I get in the car and I go to his house.
How'd you find out where he lives?
Well, interesting thing about the internet. People like to post pictures of their house, where they hang out, and their address and their work and all kinds of info. And then they forget about that while you're just picture. Can I? And then there's people like me who just press on this little button on your Facebook page that says more info.
About. Right.
About.
Right.
There's your phone number. There's your aunts and your uncles. There's pictures of your address. There's all the places you like to go hang out. Real easy to find.
So he didn't even show up to the show.
He was at the show. He bailed out early.
Oh, okay.
And then there was nowhere to be found. So through deduction, I showed up at his house, live, of course. And I basically kidnapped him and dragged him down to the river and threatened to drown him while he was alive.
So was this on Facebook Live?
Yeah.
I think I remember seeing the video.
The whole world saw that video. The next day, my son messaged me, and he lives in China. And it went viral, and it was on his top videos on his computer when he opened it up in China.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, Dad, I saw he tried to drown this guy down by the river. Needless to say, I'm not allowed back in Canada.
Did the government tell you that?
Not so many words, yes.
Was it on your...
They weren't pleased of my antics.
Was it on your way out of the country?
Oh, no, I immediately left.
Okay.
You post stuff on Facebook, you get 50 views, some of your friends laugh. And then you go, man, that'd be really cool if we got, 500 views. And then you wake up the next morning and it did, and you're like, wow, cool, man. Out of my 40,000 friends, 0.1% saw something I posted. Cool. And then it goes viral.
How many people saw it?
Millions of people see it.
Oh, it got in the millions, huh?
Millions and millions, like police and border patrol agents.
Uh-oh.
And other government officials.
Did you get your money?
I did not get my money.
Oh.
But the amount of advertisement, the amount of nonstop stories about this far exceeds the amount that I would have ever gotten paid. In fact, I encourage more people not to pay me so I can show up at your house to kick your ass. Because the end result was way better than the dude ever paying me. And this was like 3-4 years ago. I must have told this story at least 1,000 times. And at this point in time, me and him are best friends now.
Oh, wow.
At one point in his life, he was begging to God that I did not drown him in the cesspool down by the factory at his house. And now he's messaging me while I'm in the hospital, wishing me well.
Isn't it funny how life works like that sometimes?
Yes, turning a negative into a positive situation.
Yeah. So
remember that next time you hire green Jello, or you want to talk shit about me on the internet. I know where you live.
You ever seen Jay and Silent Bob?
Coming to get you.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. They start going to all the kids' houses that talk shit about them on the internet.
I did not see that, but there are Silent J or what are their fucking names again?
Jay and Silent Bob.
Jay and Silent Bob. There are Jay and Silent Bob punk rock puppets in that movie.
Oh, did you make those?
One of the many franchise members did in Mississippi.
Beauty.
Yes, punk rock puppets. Jay and Silent Bob.
So
in the movie.
Do you remember what scene? Because I want to check that out.
Some sort of convention.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Now, you use masking tape to make those puppets, right?
Duct tape from Walmart.
Yeah, that's what I meant, duct tape.
88 cents.
So different color duct tape, and then what do you use to fill it?
Foam from Walmart, $17.98 a roll.
Okay.
So for $50, I basically can make 2 puppets.
Not bad.
And so let's say I'm playing in Detroit. Somebody decides to steal the Cow God at the show. Now, if I was in Guar or in Ghost or in Slipknot, I'd be pissed. This gazillion-dollar costume that's well kept and well maintained has been stolen. How dare you, you worthless, horrible fans? I encourage you to steal my things. Because I'm really employed by the cold and flu industry. What I've been secretly doing for the last 40 years is I store all kinds of flus inside the foam heads. And then I travel from town to town, moving the virus to each little town and city. So infect 10 people with 10 costumes. They infect 10 more. They infect 10 more. They infect 10 more. Think about it. NyQuil and flu medicine sales skyrocket every town and city that we play. Coincidence?
You're patient zero. It's all part of the plan.
Now who's the crazy one, huh? Who's the crazy one now, huh?
We're all a little crazy. So what was the prognosis when you landed in the hospital this last time? Did they? Was it just high blood pressure? Or like,
well, they said that I had high blood pressure due to stress, and this is really funny. This is what the doctor told me, because I'm originally from back east. I lived there until I was about 26, and then I moved to Hollywood to become on a game show called The Gong Show, but that's a totally different story.
Yeah, you told that in the first episode we did.
Yes,
which was wonderful. Link in the description. There we go.
Link. Yes,
I'll link it below.
Thank you.
Part 1.
So, what was I saying?
Oh, you were talking about in the hospital. They said you had high blood pressure, but you were actually hospitalized. Yeah.
So they said I had high blood pressure, and the doctor knew I was from New York State, and the doctor basically said this to me: "You moved from back east 30 years ago. Stopped acting like people from back east and start acting like you're from California." And it made a lot of sense to me, because a lot of people back east don't let shit go.
Right.
You know, they'll remember something from 10 years ago. You know, I still got this guy that was in my band who I told to move his guitar amp and plug it into a different plug after he had plugged it in. And that was like 7 years ago. And he still brings it up to this day, how I made him move his amp. To him, that was 4 shows ago. To me, that was 1,500 shows ago.
Right.
You know, some people just can't let shit go. So once that doctor explained to me, like, just let it go. Who cares? You know, instead of you thinking, why is this bad stuff happening to me? Instead of you taking that defense, why don't you turn around and say, why of course it's happening to me. It happens to everyone.
It's true.
So why not me?
That's true.
What makes me so special that bad things aren't going to happen? And that made a lot of sense to me. Because for some silly reason, my New York ways taught me to carry things. And then all of a sudden, when I just sort of like release that, now when I take my blood pressure, and what you're going to laugh, I bring it with me. I have a portable blood pressure machine.
My mom's got one of those.
That's how old I am. So I'm putting it on. I got it on right now.
Well, you gotta stay on top of that.
Now watch this. Here I am. I'm going to be all zen. Here we go. Here we go.
Let's breathe together.
Breathe. Here we go.
This is a first.
And the result is?
I can't read it.
Oh, it was 107.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I went from 170 to 107. And it's all about not letting things from long ago bother you anymore.
So do you feel like a literal weight has been lifted since you started adopting this mentality?
Yes, because high blood pressure is something that you don't know about. Like, I didn't know it was high.
Yeah.
And it's literally called the silent killer because people don't know they have it because there's nothing telling them that you got it. And what it means is you're pumping so much blood that it's messing up your little veins and it's starting to clog them up, and all those pocket hamburgers and all that booze and all that worry for 20 years from when you were 25 to where you were 45, these little tiny fractions, that much happen every year, but for 20 years, and all of a sudden it becomes an issue.
Yeah, it adds up after a while.
It adds up, exactly. And that's where I was at the point where it added up. And luckily, my friend told me to go to the hospital, so I learned about it before it got out of control, like Lazy D.
That's good.
Like, Lazy D was just a few steps ahead. Like, if I wasn't proactive with it now, I'd probably be in the position that Lazy D was in now.
And what's your...
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. You caught it a little early. So what's your...
Yeah, so he caught it before the actual stroke and heart attack, which is good.
Yeah.
But I caught it before the stroke, the heart attack, and the blood clot. So they all have like a little building bridge as it goes. It just doesn't all come at once. So I was just right at the perfect stage to find out.
That's good, because I know you like to sensationalize shit online a little bit, and I.
Oh well, hell yeah.
Well, because
you ever seen the movie Big Fish?
Yeah. Well, because when I read your post, you were saying this is my blood pressure, but then you talked about doing a show with the whiskey. Like from the sound of your post, it sounded like you went right from the hospital to the whiskey to play the show.
I did. And when I went on stage at the whiskey a couple of days before, because I'm very health conscious, I had drank in this 32 ounce, which is 4 servings of this detox charcoal juice, which I drink every couple months, and it just sucks out all the bad crap from whatever food or drink or living in the city, just pulls it out of you. I'm not thinking about all the heart medication that's been built up in my system. because I've never taken medication.
Oh.
So I drank 4 servings of this. It sucked all my heart medication out. And we're on stage at the whiskey. And Lazy D pulls out my heart monitor and says, we got to check your blood pressure right in the middle of the show. Which I'm like, ha, 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 this is funny. I'll go along with the joke. And I read it, and it's at 240.
That's not good.
No.
Oh, shit.
200's heart attack. And I'm at 240. And I'm on the stage at a show. So I got to make this decision. Do I stop? Or do I continue to play? So I continue to play.
Yeah. I read your post.
And only because I knew that Cedars-Sinai was just down the street. Same thing with what happened to you. You were on the stage at the whiskey, correct?
I was out on the patio of the Rainbow. So yeah, we were right
so in the same
a block
area.
away.
Yeah, so Cedars-Sinai wasn't that far away.
No.
And I knew that Lazy D was a good hour before he even had his operation. And I was minutes away from so I did the math real fast in my head. And I was like, man, if I just fall over dead live on the internet, that would be sweet. I'll get all kinds of Facebook hits.
Oh, Jesus. Well, because I remember instead of calling an ambulance or 911, when the thing popped out of my stomach, I just called an Uber. And I told the guy, because, I wanted to save money. And I told him, take me to the hospital. And I'm like, step on it. And he went really fucking fast. It was great. And I got there for $10. Because it's pretty close.
Yeah, because the ambulance ride is $1,500.
Yeah, I ain't fucking with the ambulance. Even with insurance, hell no.
Right. And that was one of the things that, again, when I told you you acquire one crazy guy, one of the new crazy guys I acquired, he was upset because when I was actually having the issues and I went to the hospital, back in January.
Yeah.
He was upset that I didn't take the ambulance. And I told him, I didn't want to pay the $1,500 when I could just drive myself. And then he proceeded to call me a bum because I didn't have health insurance, because that was the real reason why I didn't take the ambulance. And then I explained to him that, no, that wasn't the truth either, because I did have health insurance.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to take the $1,500 ambulance, even though it was paid. I didn't want to take it. It was really that simple. Like, I could drive there. Why, just because the insurance is paying the $1,500, I could drive. It's not that far. But somehow that offended him. So for the last 4 months, he's been sending me hate messages.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Who cares? You got there. And then,
right.
And it's part of your nature. You're DIY to the core. So you drive.
Right. Exactly.
I drive myself to the fucking hospital.
It's. I'm sorry if nobody cared when you went to the hospital. Just because I make it a sensational story doesn't mean that it's a lie.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that it's not, what's actually happening. It's, it's how you're perceiving my perception of what's going on. And I'm just being me.
Right. And that's something that's lovely about you, is you have a way of presenting things in a sensationalistic way where when I was reading it, I was like, oh shit, this sounds bad. But then again,
no, it was bad. It was terrible. But
then again,
and I almost did die.
There's something
just because I made it exciting.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that, it's not the truth.
Exactly.
just think of me as like, Star Magazine or something, like a tabloid.
Right. It's front cover material, but
Yeah. But enjoy it or scroll past it,
Right. But
it's all it takes. Drink.
There's something so undeniably you about taking your blood pressure on stage at the Whiskey and saying that, hey, this is, till the wheels fall off. I like that.
Right. No other band could stop a show to take their blood pressure.
Yeah. I mean,
it would make no sense.
It makes sense with green Jello.
Yeah, no, it's perfect sense.
So, okay. So this weekend, starting Thursday, is a 4-day. Are you doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Satanic Alien Cult Tour across the desert.
And Lazy D's on board.
Yes, Lazy D is flying out from Kentucky. He's flying into Phoenix, and somebody's picking him up.
Well, that being said,
I know it ain't me.
That being said, I'm glad that you're okay, and I'm glad what that doctor said resonated with you, finding some Zen. I mean, I've been in therapy trying to, with the whole Reagan youth thing that happened, I could be holding on to a lot of resentment for a lot of things over the years, but the whole idea of accepting things for what they are and letting it go, I think that's cool that you're adopting that.
Well, I'm a big pusher in this one theory, and this works for me. I'm not saying it works for anyone else.
Yeah.
But it takes the same amount of energy and time to be negative and to carry negative.
Yeah.
And instead of risking your health and letting your life pass you by, take that same energy that you would waste being negative and use that same energy into being more productive.
Amen.
So, an example, being in a band, you come across a lot of people that have addictive personalities.
Say that again.
And that means alcohol and drugs.
Yep.
And to somebody that gathers around people with the same sort of addictive personalities, and it's all okay because they all accept it, that's wonderful. But when you mix that into productive people that get stuff done, and you have these non-productive people that don't get anything done, then the clash begins.
Oh, yeah.
So it's up to you to, you get sucked down into their mentality, because every addictive personality wants you to agree with their addiction, so it's no longer taboo. Or you can go your own way. And when you go your own way, sometimes that addictive personality on the other side doesn't allow that. So they'll do their best to put you down, to shame you, to discourage you from accomplishing anything. And you can, listen to the advice of those who accomplish nothing. Or you can take this bad energy that they're throwing at you and absorb every bit of it and then resurface it in a positive, productive way. So just in the last few weeks, I've done some house cleaning of my crew with people that were having addictive personality issues. And of course, there repercussions, come out, blah, 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 whatever they're trying to do to shame you, to make them look better. You could either fall into it or you do something productive. So me, I fix our sets a little bit better. I built 4 new puppets. I organized a tour. I gave motivational speeches to, large groups of people exactly about how not to get stuck in the addictive personality crisis. So it's at the end of the day, it's just up to you if you're going to be productive or not. And being with people that aren't productive, nothing's going to happen. And it's really that simple. No matter how much you hope and no matter how much you try to motivate, it's not going to happen. Because the addictive personality wants to drink, wants to party, wants to fuck off. And which is fine. But that doesn't work for creative people that want to do stuff to accomplish. And then you get that jealousy because you get it done, and then somehow because 4 months ago your friend Pete Smith says and the song's name is The Three Little Pigs. Suddenly Pete Smith wants a slice of your pie because he was there and thought of the word the, and you're just like, dude, you were drunk. And you blurted out a syllable. It doesn't mean you did anything.
Right.
So you just got to be beware of those kind of people in your life. And what I do at this point in time, I run as fast as I can.
What's funny, Bill, is everything you just described to a T, and I'm not going to mention any names, was the last 5 months of my life.
Well, that applies to pretty much everybody, though.
But it is eerily specific, everything you said. Addiction isn't in the end, it's not anybody's choice. Right. I agree.
And again, just like I say, you started off when you're young. I started partying when I was 15, but by the age of 25, I was in my local bar where I was the big fish in the little pond, and I was drunk and high like everybody else, being cool. And I looked around and I was like, oh shit. Is this it for me? Is it, drunk and dumb in a club?
Right.
And I wanted more. And I left that town and I went out in life and I got more. And I do go back to my town that I'm from. And there are people that I haven't seen in decades that oh, hey man, what's up? You still in that band? You still, what are you doing? Clueless. And what am I going to tell them? They're not going to believe anything I say. They've worked in the factory at DuPont, for the last 30 years since high school. They're going to believe my story of moving out to Hollywood and being on a game show and getting nominated for a Grammy and opening up for Kiss in Sweden, 2 years ago. No, I don't believe myself when I tell these stories. Let alone, somebody that knew me in a high school,
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you're 59, life passes you by, you got health issues. And the clock is over for you. At this point in time, I can't even tell you how many people in the last just 2 years with the pandemic that I've lost.
Right.
Young people that didn't die of, some terrible disease. They died of addiction.
Yeah.
And 35, 40, 55, all kind, I can't even imagine giving up my life now at 59. And I'm so glad that I made that choice a long time ago. It's like, you know what? Vodka's fun. Jack Daniels is a great time. And everybody loves a Heineken. but it's not going to be my life.
Amen. And back to what...
Right? And again, I'm not pushing sobriety. I'm not.
Right.
You know, I owned a rave club that held 2,000 people for 5 years. Believe me, I know how to party. I'm just
this
saying,
guy parties.
It's not for the productive me.
Right. And back to what you were saying about addiction not being a choice for a lot of people. I think the choice therein lies of whether or not you're going to surround yourself being the productive person, being the creative person with addictive people. And that's a choice that I believe, according to you, recently you've been cleaning house, and I've cleaned house in my life, and I'm excited, man. I'm about to hit the road with DTB, Downtown Brown, and
fabulous band.
And do my thing, you know?
Right. No, you're fabulous at your thing.
Yeah, and
you're just one of those guys that you throw into any environment and you're good at.
Well, thanks, man.
No, it's the truth. I don't say that about a lot of people, but you're just one of those super sub-genius music guys that you could just throw into a room and something fantastic will happen. You know, that whole thing you did with Angelo at my space. It's still, I've done 61 shows, 3 hours each. We're talking over 180 hours of programming.
Oh, wow.
And just that 5 minutes that you did is one of the best programming segments that we've done. It was just fantastic. What I wouldn't do to have you come back to Hollywood and
I'll be back
and be part of the show.
I'll be back one day. We're working on it.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
I want to. I miss the weather. But that being said, so much of what made that night amazing is just the fact that Angelo, it's not like he learned the Downtown Brown material. He just was, everything was just straight off the top of his head. All the sax lines. Yeah. And that's part of the genius of Angelo Moore, because my band is rehearsed, but Angelo's the type of dude that could just show up and not know the songs and still make it just so much fun and so high energy.
Yeah, but so are you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
But even though, you rehearse it out and then it's super phenomenal, but, you're just like Angelo. You could just crank out awesomeness.
I love that, dude.
Which I'm in awe of because, I've been trying to be a musician for like 40 fucking years now. And I'm still failing at it miserably. And I'm surrounded by all these super creative people that crank out the most magical moments. And I'm just amazed of the freestyle that, people like yourself and Angelo, can put into music and just make it great.
But don't sell yourself short, Bill, because you're the ringleader. You're the nucleus of the weirdo collective.
Well, yes, I am the collector of the misfit puppets, correct? But I'm just giving them a platform, and that's what I'm really good at, and that's what Green Jello was always about. It's just the platform to do as you please, be it good or bad.
Well, and I like that you welcome both, because so many people are way too concerned about being good. Like there's some fun in fucking shit up and sucking at times, I love it.
It was in 1981, which was a long time ago.
That's when I was born.
Was when you were born.
Yep.
When you were born, my son, I came up with this theory that there was this gigantic long line to be the best, and it wrapped around the block, and the wait was forever. And then I looked at the line for being the worst. There was nobody in the box office.
I love it.
I had the fucking key. And I just walked in and I opened up the box office and I said, "Welcome the worst." And I was first in line.
Love it.
And my key is The Gong Show. from 1987, October 14th, on YouTube, proof. Now, if I never got into my car and drove 2,500 miles to be on that game show, to be humiliated in front of America, to win Lee Press on Nails for a year, then
It looks like we lost Bill. Battery ran out on his phone again. But hey, this is another first. First time a guest has ever taken their own blood pressure on the program. Someone's urinated, someone's defecated, and someone now has taken their own blood pressure on SUPcast. This has been SUPcast number 80. Bill Manspeaker of Green Jello. Be sure to check them out on tour, coming to you live. All right, I'm going to go watch Barry. We'll see you next time. Hey, do you like this video? Do you want to see more stuff like it? Well, consider being a patron of my Patreon page, patreon.com/Neil P. If you pledge monthly, you get some perks, you get some exclusive content, and you get to help stuff like this get made on the monthly. Yo, check it out.